Rochester. That didn't look like you, did it, Curtis?
No, not even a little bit.
UFL game night. Week 5 action. We are in upstate New York, and we are freezing our tails off. We're not the ones on the field. Tonight, the Rochester Pioneers try and go 5-0 on the season as they host the Houston Herd. My name is Josh Circle. I'm doing play-by-play for you tonight. And with me in the booth is my best friend for the next 2 hours, Chris Curtis. Chris, a lot of talk about Rochester tonight, but Houston and a odd twist, bringing some legends of their own. You see DR Simeon there in the huddle. What kind of chance do they have to snap this Pioneers win streak?
There is going to be some talk about how Houston will handle the cold weather. That's the biggest question mark that you have for Houston coming into a very, very cold Rochester. Although we're up in heated seats up in the booth, these guys are frigid down there as they come from East Texas down to the cold. But it's going to be fun to see how they react to the cold, and that will tell me their chances.
Rochester will start at the 32. You got a heated seat? I'm going to talk to somebody on their travel team here. That's getting a little chilly up here. Rochester throws on first down, and Matt Wilson finds Justin Reeside. And already, Rochester moving the chains here on offense.
Yeah, good start for Rochester. Wilson can sling it with the best of them, no doubt about that. Really high football IQ and an accurate, hard arm.
Couple of legends are incomplete there on 1st and 10. Rochester averaging 30 points a game, and look at the big boys on this offensive line. Sam Scott, Javante Henderson, Carter Walters among the linemen, but some real talent in the backfield as well, starting with Casey Mears at halfback.
Yeah, Casey Mears has been good all season long for Rochester, continues to do things, but I'm looking at Mustard Bird, Dejon Swan at wide receiver. He is going to be somebody to watch and one of the favorite targets for Wilson.
And Mears will get the carry on 2nd down. I expect we'll see a lot of running. And are these boys up to it on the front line here for Houston?
Well, I'm looking at the secondary for Houston, and that's going to be where this game is won or lost for them because Wilson can throw it. But look at Mike Denali, strong safety, out in the secondary for Houston. He is going to be back there to give his corner some extra help. And he'll be the one that's left more or less on the island if they go single high safety. So that is a person to watch for Houston.
Wilson's going to tuck it and run and gets out to midfield. And Wilson well short of the marker, and Rochester will bring out the punt team. Also got to keep an eye on the Houston defense is a linebacker, number 57, Gingon Breadbin, as we see the replay of Wilson taking a run.
Yeah, top 5 names in football history, Gingon Breadbin at the linebacking spot. He's going to be responsible for the legs of Matt Wilson, and he does a really good job there to take out the legs and force Rochester to punt it. And they're going to put it in the end zone. And that's where Houston's going to start.
Drake O'Leary with an almost amazing punt.
Yep.
And it will get brought out to the 20. And Houston, for the first time tonight, will be on offense. Ronnie Shanahan, 8-year veteran, will hand off on 1st down. And that's a productive run on 1st down. That's Timmy Millsap, the backup halfback, getting a carry early, 2nd and 1.
Yeah, I don't expect that Millsap will get a majority of the carries here, but giving it to him early on lets DJ Simeon kind of see what the defensive line is going to bring to the table.
Shanahan with all the time in the world. I mean, all the time in the world. Throws and then incomplete. That time looking for DJ Simeon, son of a legend, DR Simeon, and they're the big boys in front for Houston.
Yeah, big boys in front, but you got to take a look at Noe Terrazas and then DR Simeon, DJ's dad. The father-son combination in Houston is really, really good, and then Noe Terrazas is good pretty much wherever you put him on the field. He is going to be a target for Shanahan as they go bunch right.
Going back in the backfield, that's Millsap. Shanahan going or toward the sideline, and that is incomplete. Looking for the legend himself, number 80, DR Simeon, and it will be Houston's turn to punt the football.
Yeah, so two drives that don't go very far, one for each team. But the biggest thing with the weather out here, you got the ball slipping out of hands. You've got players running routes and slipping on those routes. This is going to be more ground and pound than I think either of these teams is comfortable playing. So they are going to have to adjust. And right now the defenses are loving seeing these offenses struggle like this.
You know, I was just going to mention, I'm surprised that we have not seen either team really adjust for the weather right now, as Rochester fair catches at the 28. I mean, these are two predominantly passing offenses, especially Rochester. Do you think they're just going to try and make it work? I mean, there's not a lot of cover on the field so far, but the snow's still coming down.
Now, the short to intermediate passing game is going to be the biggest key for both of these teams if they want to continue to pass the ball, and the screen game just like this.
And that is going to be close to a first down, if not a first down. That is Justin Reside once again. They're going to call that a carry for 11 yards.
Yeah, throw backwards to Reside. They gave him pretty much a flat screen pass to free him up towards the sideline. That's a good little play, little nifty gadget to give Reside the ball. Give the ball to your playmakers, put them in the open field, make them make people miss. And that's a good start for Rochester on this drive. Second drive in a row that they've started Reside off of the catch.
Reside only 5'9", but standing tall right there, getting his team another first down as Rochester marches to the 39. And they will keep it on the ground here. That is Casey Mears up the middle, and he's loose, and the ball's out. And Houston's going to recover. And Houston takes over Tyrone Lofton with the recovery.
And that is the danger you have in the snow. Casey Mears gets hit real hard coming out of the backfield. He's got a head full of steam, but as soon as he gets hit, the safety comes up and lays the wood to bring the ball out, and Mears cannot recover it in time. The ball's going to be slippery. It's going to be cold. Your arms aren't going to work the way they're normally used to, and you have a fumble forced by the visitors, who are more of a warm climate team. That's an interesting turn of direction as Houston gets the ball in really good field position.
And that was Mike Denali, the strong safety, that came up and just laid out Casey Mears, drawing that ball loose. And now great field position for the herd. Shanahan will throw on first down, and that is caught. Very nice completion there. That's Lucas Ryan, the third wide receiver in this offense. Another first down for the herd.
Yeah, unclaimed third wide receiver Lucas Ryan, definitely a nice catch on the curl route coming back in. That's that short to intermediate passing game that I'm talking about. Both teams are going to have to employ it.
Shanahan throwing again. That is caught out to the 40, down near the 35. That is Dre McCorkle, the tight end. And you mentioned Lucas Ryan is still available to claim. Players abound here still in this premier season of the UFL. You could go to UFL, YOUFL.football to learn more. Up the middle this time, it's DJ Simeon. Simeon will get maybe a yard or two. As we take a look at the Rochester defense, who do you like in this unit? And why is it E.K. Vincent?
E.K. Vincent's a good one, but I'm going to focus more on the secondary again. Han Tayumi, the safeties are going to be the main cogs in both of these defensive machines. How far do they come up, because of the fact that there's not going to be a lot of deep shots in my theory taken on either of these defenses? How much of an impact can these safeties have?
Shanahan will hand off. Simeon again, and Simeon has to go backwards. And that's a nice job by the Rochester defense containing the edge. Third and long.
And now you're on the precipice of field goal range here. You're at the 35 or thereabouts, and now it'd be about a 52-yarder from here. So I expect them to try to get some yards.
Maybe just a couple yards. They'll go play action. And Shanahan is laid out from behind. Very fortunate he held onto the ball. Carlos Watson with the big flex.
Yeah, that's a big-time sack coming around the backside. A blindside sack as he comes in untouched on that penetration there. Real nice move. We're using the speed to get around his block, and there is nothing that Shanahan can do to prevent himself going down. Just lucky he held on to the football, but more importantly, that knocks them out of field goal range. That's a huge hit to take them out of scoring range and force them to try to pin Rochester deep.
Outstanding play by the Rochester defense. And the punt team will come on for Houston. This is Brandon Edwards, the rookie. And not a great punt there, as that's going to be close to what would have been a touchback anyway at the 20. Keep an eye on the UFL website and Instagram Friday, April 10th for an exciting collaboration announcement with an industry leader. As the UFL enters its second quarter of the season, the momentum is not slowing down. It's just getting started. Follow the UFL on Instagram at YOUFL.football. Matt Wilson and friends back out on the field. Not a great start there, as they will take a loss. That's Dijon Swan. 5'10", 178, negative yardage on first down.
That's another backwards pass by Wilson, trying to set up the screen like they did to Justin Reside on the previous couple of drives. But Swan has to go backwards, did not really read where that ball was supposed to go, and could not find any momentum or get any kind of running start at that football. So that's a big 2-yard tackle for loss by the Houston defense.
Elijah Blades on the tackle, an industry leader in his own right. Mears gets the call again, and maybe a yard there, trying to keep this Houston defense honest. It's 3rd and a country mile.
Well, and giving it back to Mears there tells you what kind of faith they have in this guy. He's one of the league's leading rushers for a reason, and him fumbling earlier is not a normal thing.
2 backs in the backfield. Wilson, and that is caught. Unbelievable. That's Justin Reside again. All 5'9" of him going up and getting it.
He's got 2 catches, 1 carry on the day off that screen, but he's been very sure-handed so far, even in the cold weather. The cold hands not the biggest problem for Justin Reside in that 19-yard grab. Real nice elevated catch, caught it at the high point, and was able to shield the ball from his defender. Good work from Reside. They moved the chains.
Magnificent, going after the 50-50 ball. And now Matt Wilson in the shotgun. That's Casey Mears in motion. And he will throw it to Mears, and Mears didn't look, or no, excuse me, that is Evan Wood, the tight end. Wood didn't look like he was ready for that. 2nd and 10.
They're trying the screens and the gadget plays, and they work. So far, they've worked about half the time. But how many times in a row before they start to abandon that philosophy?
That may be just an adjustment to the weather that's not quite working out. A bullet from Wilson over the middle, and that is knocked down. Najee Anderson, I believe, the intended receiver. And now 3rd and 10. Houston with a chance to get off the field.
One of the things about throwing the drag pattern is you got to be able to lead the receiver, but you can't throw a bullet like that if you're Wilson and expect him to catch it in this cold weather.
Wilson under pressure there. It's a screen, and that goes nowhere. Abandoning the screen, not this time. As Sean Johnson, excuse me, that's Marks, Lou Marks, number 90, with the stop behind the line.
Yeah, real good penetration by Marks, able to read the screen. He's all over the running back coming off of that screen, not going to let him get free, and he is solely responsible for that tackle and taking away the opportunity. And we've had now, what is this, 5 drives and punts on all 5 of them, or punts on 4 of them.
Houston going to run this punt out to the 35. Let's get a weather update from our AI specialist, Cameron Irvine. Cam, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, it's actually pretty incredible the way that our game utilizes weather. There's actually settings on the back end of the game, deep inside the code, that actually discuss essentially point shaving for games in the rain or in the snow or whatever. So weather actually does affect play calling. It affects the amount of points that are scored in a game, the amount of yards that are totaled in a game. It's actually pretty impressive the way that they essentially have programmed things to work differently in inclement weather. So some of what you're seeing is actual code coming to life.
Thank you, Cam. Ronnie Shanahan throwing to his left. This team going east and west a little bit as well, Curtis. And that is complete. 3rd and medium here.
Well, like Cam was saying, that's the adjustment to the code. You go east and west, you put yourself with a sure foot in the ground and the ball in tow, secure, before you start moving vertical.
Play action, Shanahan. Looking for the deep shot. Under pressure, down he goes. Here, Rochester gets home on the rush. It's DeAdrian Palmer.
Yeah, a lot of time taken by Shanahan in the pocket there. He just continues to back up. He starts himself at the 35-yard line. Palmer is past the 40 before he starts to get penetration and get to Shanahan. He's not sacked until he's all the way back to the 28-yard line. So that is a 7-yard scamper backward for Shanahan before Palmer even hits him. That's a big-time loss from the Houston quarterback, who really needs to get that ball out of his hands way sooner. Even if you throw it into the first row, just get rid of it. Don't take that kind of loss.
Both teams trying to make something happen. The cold the stifling defenses for both sides. Not much happening on the offensive side so far. Our 6th consecutive punt in this game is Rochester set to take over on their own 34-yard line. For UFL schedules, standings, stats, rankings, and more, visit the league website at UFL.football and claim your player today. You can help your favorite team succeed there too by just being a fan and declaring your fandom. UFL.football, the official home of everything UFL. Matt Wilson unleashing the dragon, and that is incomplete. Taking the shot down the field for Dijon Swan, but Houston knocks it out of the sky. 2nd and 10.
That is a very smart throw from Wilson. Not only does he have one-on-one out there, so if he's able to make a play out there, then fantastic, but just giving the thought for him going deep.
Watch set Wilson over the middle. That is caught. That is Devontae Christian, the backup tight end. And it'll be 3rd and medium to medium large.
Yeah, that is again, back to that throw. Him throwing deep on 1st down will open up the underneath routes and maybe get them a 1st down or 2 on this drive.
4-man rush, 5-man rush, and Wilson's going to tuck it and go. Can he get to the corner? He's going to slide well short of the 1st down. I thought he was going to take a stab at that. It looked like he could have made it close, but no. Rochester will punt again.
A little bit of field vision issues from Wilson there. He had the chance and the angle to be able to get around the corner there, I think, but instead slides well too soon and forces his team to punt anyway.
It's Drake O'Leary on the punt, and that is going to go back into the end zone for another touchback. Ronnie Shanahan, 328 passing yards a game. That is good for 3rd in the UFL. Matt Wilson with a 188.1 in the UFL's in-house efficiency rating. That is good for 1st. But this has been anything but a quarterback duel so far. Ronnie Shanahan under center. We'll go play action, and he'll throw over the middle, and that is caught. And finally, a little room to run for Noe Terrazas as he goes down the right sideline. 20-10-5, touchdown, Houston.
What a move. Noe Terrazas catches this. He has to make a man miss, and this is the perfect time to do that. He's able to make this happen in the snow right there. A stop, a start, and he has plenty of room between him and the end zone, but no red shirts between him and the promised land. That's a fantastic play by Noe Terrazas. The one-on-one move that he had is gross, and he currently left his defender at the 40-yard line. That's nasty.
It got a big block downfield, it looked like. I think that was Lucas Ryan that came up with a block that helped spring Terrazas down the sideline. And that 6-point, pending the extra point, looming large at this point. It feels like a 20-point lead with this weather right now.
And it's the first big offensive chunk play we've had so far.
For either side, Austin Whitney converts, and Houston leads 7-0. The UFL concludes Week 5 on the Virtual Football Network Wednesday night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, with another trio of games on game night. In primetime, it's the San Diego Wildcats and Salt Lake Hornets, both trying to improve to 4-1 on the season. You won't want to miss it. The UFL lives on VFN.
Now Rochester, after giving up that quick strike, gets this ball back, and I mean, the time for patience is done. You had the feeling out process. You have gone short to medium on most of your plays, and then Houston just rips you apart for a long gainer and a touchdown. Now, how patient can you still afford to be if you are Rochester in this type of scenario?
Rochester on their own 30. This will probably be the last play of the first quarter. Wilson to the right side, and that was nearly picked off. Looking for Justin Reside again. And we avoid a scoreless first quarter thanks to the first touchdown from Noe Terrazas. Houston Herd leads 7-0. You're watching the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. Houston visiting upstate New York. Josh Circle, Chris Curtis, so glad to have you with us. Running up the middle again is Casey Mears. Rochester 4-0 on the season. They're trying to keep up with Cincinnati, who won just a few days ago, and they are 5-0. Rochester right now staring down the cannon of a 7-0 deficit here in the second quarter. Matt Wilson trying to rally the troops, and that is caught. Evan Wood making the catch. And that's a fresh set of downs for the Pioneers.
Yeah, second time they've gone Wood's direction so far. They tried to hit him on a screen earlier. Wilson this time has him on a little bit of a comeback route. This is a smart throw. Throw it as he's coming back, and the defenders content to just let him have that catch and then tackle after the catch is done. So they don't want to take a big risk and open up the field for a long gainer as Evan Wood brings that in.
Wilson in the shotgun. Still throwing, and that is caught to the right sideline out the field. Rochester with a big gain of their own. It's Najee Anderson finally getting their first chunk play of the night.
That was a real nice designed play for Anderson. He's got the comeback back towards the original line of scrimmage. You'll see it here. He comes back. As he comes back, he's able to utilize that speed to get around the corner. It's him versus a linebacker, two linebackers. He's going to win that race every single time with his speed. Anderson able to turn that corner and able to get down the sideline with a real nice chunk play. Rochester would be smart to utilize their speed, get the more sure-footed receivers with the ball in short yardage situations.
Octavius Simmons checks in at fullback, and that, nowhere to go. Casey Mears is swallowed up.
Houston's been all about containing the running attack of Casey Mears, and Johnson comes up to get him on this play. Just a real nice read, and he's responsible for the hit. Is Johnson able to get to the ball? Just find the ball, take out the ball. That's his one task there. He does a great job of it.
John Johnson, number 90 in my program, but number 95 on the field. Second and 14, Wilson, and throwing into a trio of Herd defenders, but none of them come up with it. Third and long.
One of the benefits of being able to sling the ball as hard as Matt Wilson does is even when you make a mistake like that, the defender has to be pinpoint reaction time to be able to make that mistake pay off for them.
He really is whipping that thing around under pressure, and that is caught. Mears needs one more block, but is blown up behind the line of scrimmage. And that is another fourth down for this Rochester offense.
Yeah, that was Wilson's drive there. Mears on the screen, real good idea. Put him in open space, get his confidence level up. The problem is that the blocking was not able to really hold. 31 gets well around the block that was tried to lay in front of him, and he makes the tackle. That was a fantastic defensive play to keep Mears in front of him, and they're going to force another Rochester punt from the 36.
This Houston secondary laying some wood tonight, as this will get punted away. And this has a chance to be a beaut, and down inside the 5-yard line. And that is cause for celebration for Drake O'Leary. Let's take another look.
It's a nice couple of bounces. Nothing really Houston can do about that. Great punt to put Houston back deep, but they've been able to get a real good offense going on that chunk play earlier that turned into a nice touchdown. Now their backs are up against their own end zone here, and we'll see how they'll adjust here.
Screen pass from the 5-yard line. This is their worst starting field position of the day, and they don't really improve on that. I think that was Lucas Ryan with the catch. 2nd and 12. Great stop there by Rochester.
Now, they got to be careful here, because if you go a screen pass, you let go a sack, that's a safety and 2 points. So Rochester's chomping at the bit to try to get at Shanahan on these next couple of plays to force that safety. Houston's got to find a creative way to make some room.
Ben Hess, the fullback, checks in as Houston goes to the eye. And up the middle goes DJ Simeon. And Simeon will get this offense a little breathing room out to the 11, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, can't really ask for much more than that. That's good work from DJ, able to get through the tackles and get up vertical. He's got to go vertical here. He can't afford to go east to west. Not enough room behind him to be able to navigate that arsenal of minefields. So he's got to go north, got to get it done. He is able to do so to get them a few and create a 3rd and manageable scenario.
And they abandon the 2-back set here on 3rd and 4. And Shanahan will be in the shotgun. 4-man rush for Rochester. Shanahan unloads. That is caught out to the 20. And Shanahan and the Herd have the breathing room they sought so dearly. Lucas Ryan with the catch.
Ryan's been involved so far in this first half. Like seeing him get those passes out. Great little stop and go route. He grabs it, able to make it so he stops on a dime, but his defenders is a little bit late to the party. And running those curl routes, if they're not expected, is pretty smart in the snow as long as you can maintain traction with your cleats. Real good work and a tough adjustment from the defender to be able to stop that.
So far, so good. For the boys in white, at least. There's the handoff to DJ Simeon, and Simeon's loose. Makes a tackler miss and gets out to the 40, down at the 41. A nice piece of running from DJ Simeon.
Two great moves from Simeon are what set that play up between the tackles. Here's one right there. The hesitation, and then the hesitation again going off to the right on the juke, puts him in between the hash marks and into the second level. The safeties have to come down to make the hit. And like Tayomi and company are in that area, but just not speedy enough to get to DJ before he makes an impact on that run and gets him closer to midfield.
You see the frustration on the Rochester sideline. Beside themselves at this point. Shanahan over the middle. And that is dropped. I thought that was an easy catch for Tyron Armstrong, but he can't bring it in. Second down.
Yeah, it probably should have been, but I mean, it goes back to the weather. The biggest adjustment you can have is you keeping your hands warm as much as physically possible. That might have just been a spot of the cold hands, not able to bring it in.
Two tight end set for Houston. Simeon again on the ground. And he'll get maybe one or two, but this is going to be a long third down either way for the Herd.
Longest third down they've had to convert so far in this drive. Remember, this drive started, I believe, at the 6-yard line. So this is a major step up from where they were.
3 wide for the Herd. Shanahan in the shotgun still. That is caught. It's going to be a yard or two short, I believe. Timmy Millsap can't quite reach the line to gain. 4th and 2.
And that was Tayomi coming up to make the hit just before the line to gain. Real nice timing by the safety, able to come up right on the midfield logo. Knows where that ball's headed, knows where the the receiver has to get to move the chains, and very responsible field vision from Tayomi to make that stop and just keep everything in front of him and in front of that first down marker.
Well, nice drive nonetheless for the Herd, but it comes to an end here. And this is Brandon Edwards punting this away. And Rochester, we'll see if they can get their offense out of first gear. Not much to write home about. Punt, fumble, 3 and out, punt. And I probably missed a punt in there somewhere.
I think you missed 2, to be honest with you. Mears, you saw on screen, she has the 1 fumble for Rochester, but the goal here is to give her back the football, and they have so far to keep her involved.
And why not start right there? Mears with the catch over the middle. And you see the numbers there on Matt Wilson, 8 of 14. Not too bad on paper. But the offense has been a bit stagnant. So a welcome catch there from Mears. 2nd and 4. 2 tight ends to the right. Hand off to Mears again. Mears has the first down. Out to the 40. Rochester starting to get things cooking here as we have just over 5 minutes to play in the first half.
Good work by the line to spread out the tackles and be able to get a hole for Mears to run through. This is something to be said. You got the cleats on the slippery slope that is the turf right now, trying to make those holes for the running back to get through. Good job there. See if they can continue to do it.
Here comes the blitz. Wilson's going to run. Going to turn upfield, and he will slide. A little business decision there out to the 44. I thought he had a yard better than that, but we'll call it 2nd and 5.
Still pretty good, though, from Wilson. Good decision-making to be able to get outside the pocket. He's been pretty adept at that early on this season.
Very much so. 3-step drop. Wilson looking on the out route, and that was Evan Wood again. Evan Wood not making the connection with Wilson so far. 3rd and 5.
Yeah, just the 1 catch for Wood. It was a pretty good one, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, just a little bit disconnected with his quarterback.
Bunch to Wilson's right. 4-man rush. He's going to run again. Has the first down in midfield. Nearly clobbered. Sliding across that logo, but it's a fresh set of downs for the Pioneers with just under 4 minutes to play here in the half.
Every time Wilson runs like that, the Rochester collective just kind of holds its breath just because they know he's going to slide. They know he's pretty responsible with the football, but you just never know, especially with the slippery terrain, just how fast these defenders are going to come at him if they can control their dive towards the quarterback And it takes one hit to the head to change an entire trajectory so far.
And if Benjamin Roback had blown him up, I don't think that would have been a late hit. I think that would have been in play.
Yeah.
Wilson again to the right side this time, and in and out of the hands of Justin Reside. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Reside just not quite able to hold on to that hot shot from Wilson off to the right. A couple of nice routes run by Reside. He's got a couple of catches, and they were good ones. Just not able to haul this one in.
3 linebackers on the field for Houston. Another short drop from Wilson, and that is batted at the line. Not quite sure what the idea was there, but now it's 3rd and 10. And Rochester has a chance to come away with nothing here if they can't get maybe another first down.
No, and they're still trying to tie this game up. So this is a big 3rd down for Rochester.
Watch to Wilson's left. 4-man rush, has time. Going down the field, and that is caught. He brought it in. No. Once again, Evan Wood cannot hang on. In and out of those firm, chilly hands. It's 4th down.
The gunslinger that is Matt Wilson is going to take those shots every now and then. Even in inclement weather, he's going to try and make a play with his arm or with his legs. So he's got a bit of a gambler mentality, but there's a lot of times it works out for Rochester rather than the other.
Credit where it's due. Mike Denali went up and knocked that ball right out of Wood's hands. And Mike Denali having himself a nice game tonight.
He was my key guy coming into this game in the secondary for Houston. He comes up, makes the plays. How effective were the safeties going to be in this weather? So far, this first half has told us that they are going to be a key component to both teams' defenses.
There's Mike Denali's good buddy, Ronnie Shanahan, and that is complete. And just like that, in one play, Houston in plus territory with 3:06 to play in the half. What a catch. Gain of 23 yards.
You can see that the snow has more or less drifted off of the center hash marks for both these teams. So there's a little bit more room to work as the snow's kind of slowed down here. And the constant footpaths that are being taken make it so there's a little bit more traction there as to not slip as much. The passing game is going to open up a little bit for both these teams. Houston showed it there down the middle of the field.
Lucas Ryan, we've been calling his name all night. With another big catch up the middle, it's DJ Simeon. Simeon takes a lick after a short gain as we are approaching the 2-minute warning here, 2nd and 9.
And no spikes either. That's one of the big time rules of the UFL. There's no spikes. So they have to keep this ball moving forward and they don't get to waste it down just by putting it into the ground.
Shanahan under center. All kinds of time going down the sideline, and that is caught. A huge catch there for Ronnie Shanahan, and that brings us to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, great play for the 2-minute warning, and then now 120 seconds left for Houston to try to get something on the board, make it a 2-possession game.
Tyron Armstrong says it all, 1st down. Can Houston add to their lead against the undefeated Rochester Pioneers? Josh Circle, Chris Curtis in the booth, Cameron Irvine in the truck. Houston on the field, trying to add to their 7-0 lead, trying to knock down the undefeated Rochester Pioneers. Ronnie Shanahan thrown to the end zone, knocked away. Only his 4th incompletion of the half, and it looks like the snow picking back up again. 1:56 remaining here before the break.
That was Champ Brown, the safety, who had a shot at that football, knocked it away. Great defensive effort to make sure that Ed is contested all the way from square one.
Shanahan again, it looked like the exact same play. Touchdown, but a flag.
Illegal touching, offense.
It's going to be illegal touching on the offense. They're saying he went out of bounds and came back in. So the touchdown is nullified. 3rd and 10. Shanahan in the shotgun. We'll dump it down this time. And this is DJ Simeon getting to the 15, and I think he got the 1st down. This is Simeon Millsap.
Yeah, Millsap with a great move. That was the best part about this. Able to get through, get this 1st down. Watch this move. He's going to stop, and he cuts between 2 defenders to get a couple of clutch yards there to get himself the 1st down and set up Houston in the red zone. That is a play that does not end up on the score sheet other than a couple of extra yards, but that is a huge conversion for them as they get it within in the red zone here.
Clock continues to run, less than 90 seconds remaining. Shanahan in the shotgun, 4-man rush, throwing to the end zone again, knocked away, incomplete. That is Joe Allen, the corner. with the pass deflected, 2nd and 10.
And a big 2nd down. You got to make 3rd down a little bit shorter. They can get a 1st down at the 5, so don't expect them to go to the end zone here.
Dan in the shotgun to the sideline, trying to get out of bounds, but cannot. It looks like it's going to be 3rd and 8. You really can't run it here, or can you at this point, Chris?
If you're going to run, you need to be sure. A draw play, a unique little hole to create maybe a screen, that could be a thought too. You have to be sure if you go screen, you got to go sideline. But if you're Rochester, they've used that before, talking about Houston. So they could be looking for that. Rochester defense could, to try to stop that. But big 3rd down here for Houston.
Both teams with their complemented timeouts. Shanahan lobs it up there. It's Millsap. And we will see that first timeout taken as Houston decides what to do here on 4th down. They lead 7-0.
All right, there's no reason this shouldn't be a field goal. I mean, take the 3 points, give the 2nd possession lead. That's the overarching thought here. If you can get 3 points, make it a 10-0 game. You force Rochester to maybe rush things here with the final minute to put some points on the board as Houston gets the ball to start the 2nd half.
This will be a 30-yard field goal for Austin Whitney. And Whitney makes quick work of it, and that is a seemingly insurmountable at this point 10-0 lead for the Houston Herd.
All right. So, I mean, that was a successful drive for Houston. They get a chance for a 2-for-1. They've got the 1. Now they're going to have a 2nd possession after the 2nd half starts. And with 53 seconds to go, Rochester does have a little bit of time, and they also only have 2 of their timeouts, but those timeouts can make 53 seconds last a heck of a long time and give Wilson a chance to sling it downfield. So this becomes a pretty big 53-second possession for Rochester. If they can at least get into field goal range, I think that is a win and a half for Rochester. But the way Houston's defense playing, maybe that won't be the case.
Houston's been lights out so far, and their kicker lights out as well as Whitney puts it through the back of the end zone. And so Wilson will start out on the 25. And you got to figure they need at least 4, maybe 3 or 4 first downs before they could get in field goal range. And mostly through the air.
They got to go essentially 40 yards to get themselves to the 35-yard line of Houston. And that'll make it a 52-yarder.
By his lonesome. Throwing down the right side, and that is caught. Casey Mears gets her team on the plus side of the field with just one single play. Unique rules of the UFL. Spikes not allowed. No huddles. Incur a 10-second runoff regardless of previous yardage gained. And they're going to say that's incomplete. They'll bring it back to the 25. Wilson, this one is complete. And caught, but short of the first down, and Rochester will use their 2nd timeout.
Yeah, 43 seconds left. They've had the ball for 10 whole seconds at this point since the kick was put on the tee, and creating a 3rd and 1 scenario. They're still well in their own territory, so they need something to go right. And with only 1 timeout left, they want to try to save that for the field goal. You look for this to go towards the sideline if they're able to convert.
Legal back set. Wilson in the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Throwing, and that is caught out to midfield. That's Najee Anderson. Clock continues to run. 33 seconds remaining.
And here comes that 10-second runoff. So they didn't get it to the sideline, not out of bounds. Anderson makes a nice catch over the middle of the field, and they move the football. But now they're in plus territory. They still need another probably 12 yards to 15 yards to try a long field goal.
They do have the timeout left to set up the field goal unit. Wilson with time, throwing toward that sideline, and that is caught. And Wilson will get another completion there. That is Ronnie Everidge, the backup halfback. Not seen a lot of Ronnie Everidge tonight. And there's a high leverage catch for him, 2nd and 7.
And not a lot of him all season long, to be honest with you. 3rd and 7, or 2nd and 7.
Wilson again. Has time. Pressure coming, and down he goes. Can't get rid of the football, and it's Marks one more time, and Rochester will burn their last timeout.
And Marks puts a target on Matt Wilson. Couple times Marks has gotten in the backfield to take down his counterpart, number 12. That's a nice play to get through his blocks and really put Rochester up against it with just a few seconds left. And now their last timeout gone. This is going to be a heave and ho towards the end zone, and that's about all they can really afford to do.
Can they give Wilson enough time to let the receivers get downfield? They cannot. The blitz is coming, and they will chuck it down there. 1 second remaining. Looking for Dijon Swan. Wilson trying to organize the troops for one more effort toward the end zone.
That's a really smart play by Wilson. If he gets rid of this really early, even if it's incomplete, they still have one more big-time shot at the end zone. Now it's essentially an untimed down to get it as far downfield as possible. But the thing is if you catch that, you have to get it to the end zone. If that's incomplete, they're in business. But if you catch that, then we're going to the halftime locker room because they have no timeouts left.
Wilson's going to go to the sideline. They're going to punt this. Just get it down there. We won't see much of a return. With no return at all, as a matter of fact. And the spot here is moot point since the first half has come to a conclusion. Rochester on the ropes at home. Houston, Ron Shanahan and friends taking care of business, at least in the first half. They lead 10-0. Chris Curtis, your thoughts so far?
I mean, the passing game for Houston has been much more efficient and just better routes run, better decision making, and even in the snow, it's surprising me how comfortable Houston looks playing in this type of weather, just because they don't see this type of weather on an everyday basis. So this is a real nice statement made by Houston, telling us they can win this game anywhere, in any condition, even ones that are not typically ideal to them.
You saw the touchdown run from Noe Terrazas. Let's go to league rights. We're watching the UFL on the Virtual Football Network.
YOUFL is intended for the private use of our audience. Any accounts or descriptions of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Sounds so serious. I know I say that every time I hear you do it, Chris. It's just a level of seriousness I'm not used to hearing from you. This is UFL Game Night, Prime Time. I forget what we're calling this one. Josh Circle, Chris Curtis. Pretty sure neither one of us have done our taxes so far, but why would we? We're here in Rochester, New York, where the and we got a fumble early, and Rochester's going to pick this up and run it. File that one, IRS.
The scoop and score on the kickoff. This may be looked at. I think he may have been down before this popped out. So they're going to take a look and see if it was coming out as he was coming to the ground. But that is a huge hit to take. And that looks, no, that's not a fumble. That shouldn't be, I don't think.
The returner went down with a thud. And right on the scene was Jamarius Scott to scoop it up. And we'll have to wait from the word upstairs, and there is the booth review coming. And we may get one more look at it here. And very difficult to tell from that angle.
This will be the angle here. No,
I think that's in his hand when he hits the ground.
Yeah, ground can't cause a fumble. That his arm hit the ground. The ground is what caused the fumble as the collision of the arm hits the turf. That should not be, and it's not. So the scoop and score is taken off the board, and it is Houston breathing a sigh of relief.
Houston leading 10-0 against the undefeated so far Rochester Pioneers. And Ronnie Callahan, a big reason why, and he is dealing here in this game, and that is Noe Terrazas, who has the only touchdown in this game so far, making another big catch.
Yeah, Terrazas has been good on a number of occasions. That one touchdown he had earlier was a human highlight film, and so that we're going to see that one on the highlights later on. But real good work from him, and he's been pretty efficient with the ball.
Play action, Callahan will unleash the dragon going down the field, and that is in and out of the hands of Terrazas, who had one-on-one coverage down the right sideline. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, he had a step on his defender, which is more than enough when a ball is launched like that. It had the angle. It caught him in stride, just couldn't quite bring it in on a cold, brisk day. Cold, brisk night.
5 DBs on the field for Rochester. DJ Simeon has nowhere to go there on the left side. It'll be 3rd and long. That's Carlos Watson with the TFL.
And a chance on a 3rd and long for Rochester to get off the field. Did they get the touchdown taken away? Yeah. Did it deserve to be taken away? Yeah. But now they have a chance to, it's real good work by the defense just to not worry about it, focus on the game plan in front of them, and just play football. Real good drive so far for them defensively. 3rd and 11 coming up.
Shanahan, 4-man rush under pressure, manages to get rid of it.
Oof.
And that will nearly be a souvenir. And Rochester gets a stop on their first defensive outing here in the second half.
Shanahan took a hit on that. That was a big time lick he took just as he got that ball away. And really, he essentially, I would call that a throwaway with the hit that he took.
Yeah, Lael Cornish penetrating that line. And you see the hands up. That always makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
And the quarterback's lying on his back with his hands up. And here comes the punt team. Shanahan off the field with no issue. And that is caught. That is fair caught at the 24-yard line. That's where Rochester will start their first drive in the half.
Now, what adjustments do we see Matt Wilson and company make? Wilson's been okay with his legs as well as with his arm. He just has had some balls get dropped. So we'll see what kind of adjustments if they start running different routes. They go a little bit deeper. This will be fun to see.
5-step drop and a catch on the first throw of the game. That's Devontae Christian working all the way down the depth chart. I think I would like to see personally, not that anybody asked me, but Casey Mears needs to get more involved in the offense here, get a few more touches, as she does right there, breaking a tackle and getting close to the line to gain. You see the numbers there for Mears. Not quite 5 yards a pop, and now 3rd and short.
No, I think they should go back to Mears again here. It gets a couple yards there, and this is a perfect running formation. You got a nickel look on defense, so you've got an extra corner out there. This is a good running formation.
Simmons in the offset eye. They go play action instead. Wilson will throw over the middle, and that's caught. A big catch and into plus territory. And look who it is. Once again, Justin residing downfield and materializing with the football.
Yeah, he's been good. Most times he's had the ball thrown to him, able to grab that ball, bring it in, secure it. He's got a couple of herd players in front of him. He knows he's probably going to go down, but the most important part of that is ball security. He's able to bring that in, make a football move with it, and secure it before he goes down to the ground. Key play for Reside there, getting them across the midfield stripe, and look out for Rochester here.
Wilson, play action again, and over the middle again. And another big gain again, but this time a flag. It's Dijon Swan with a catch. And we got a face mask against Houston. We'll just tack that on to the total. And Rochester cooking with gas here on their first drive of the second half.
Not only is it a face mask, but it's a personal foul face mask, which is a heavy-handed penalty coming into, as you don't have a lot of room between you and your end zone now, starting at the 22-yard line after the penalty.
Wilson in the shotgun in the red zone here. That is handed off and into the red zone to 15 and down almost at the 10. That's Ronnie Everidge. Ronnie Everidge coming to life here in the second half.
Everidge looked like he was taken down by a horse collar tackle. Let's see it here on the very end of it, but nothing called, obviously. But yeah, it looked like they grabbed the back of the jersey. I want to see it on a separate angle, but if so, that's a no call. No, okay, no horse collar. He grabbed him by the arm, but that would look really close to getting behind the shoulder blades, and that would have been tough to see that not get called.
Absolutely. Wilson in the shotgun again. Blood in the water, and Reside makes the catch down nearly at the 5, down at the 6. It's going to be 2nd and 5. They have a chance to get a first down just shy of the end zone.
This is Casey Mears territory. Got to give it to her. Give her a chance to get down deep into the 5-yard line and farther in.
Octavius Simmons checks into the game. They go play action. Mears will stand to block it. Wide open in the end zone is Dijon Swan. But of course, touchdown Rochester.
Good old mustard bird back in the end zone. Wilson's waiting for him to come across on the in route. That's a great throw from Wilson and a patient play in the pocket. Defenders have no chance to get to Wilson and create pressure, so he is able to stand back there all day and wait for Swan to get free.
Magnificent drive by Rochester, coming out of the tunnel, lining up the troops and marching down the field. Thought they had a turnover on the opening kickoff. They did not. Did they get phased? They did not. They marched down the field, and Dijon Swan capitalizes. And Rochester fighting to go 5-0 here in this UFL season They only trail by 3.
Big possession coming up here for Houston as they have a chance to answer a nice drive from Rochester. Their first drive was their best drive so far tonight, able to finally put some pieces together in this second half and get some points on the board. 3-point game. This looks like it has a chance to be a real nice finish in the snow.
They're going to run it out, and down at the 24-yard line is Systek Beasley. Systek Beasley deciding to run that from the goal line. And this guy's having a hell of a game. Ronnie Shanahan has just been majestic, marching into enemy territory unfazed, not unlike George Washington crossing the Delaware River in frigid conditions and going over the middle again and finding nobody, but a triumphant throw all the same second down.
I mean, there was a lot on the throw. It just didn't have anybody on the target list. So there's a roll and chuck it for Shanahan. Just no target out there to find. And now it's a 2nd and long.
I almost prefer that, the way he's held onto the ball too long in earlier instances. And we see another misconnection there. And now 3rd and 10, and Houston starting to sputter here in the second half.
I would agree. Their second half adjustments, they didn't really need to do much to the offensive game plan. They were doing pretty all right, but good defensive adjustments by Rochester.
There's a handoff to Millsap, and Millsap, the east and west, is just not working for Houston at all, and that is shut down in a jiffy by Carlos Watson.
Yeah, his 3rd tackle so far in this football game, and you're right, Millsap going east to west. He's better when he's a vertical runner, make people miss going north-south. He just doesn't quite have the speed to get around even that linebacker right there who brought off his block. That's a misguided play call, I think, on 3rd and long.
3 and out, and that will be punted away. Brandon Edwards will get it into the 38, and the punt returner greeted at that spot. Modest return, but Rochester with nice field position as they take over an offense.
Yeah, now they have a chance to take the lead. They haven't had a chance to do that since early on in the first quarter. They've been playing from behind all day, it seems like, at least from the 3rd part of the first quarter on. Now, Rochester in business here with a 10-7 deficit.
AC Mears making a miss with a nice run on 1st down. Rochester averaging 30 points a game. We're about halfway through the 3rd quarter. They have 7. Looking to add to that here on this drive. Matt Wilson back in the shotgun. Twin tight ends to his right. Now Mears in motion to the right. Wilson all by his lonesome, and we got a flag. Play game?
Yeah. Yep. Just took too long to materialize, get the motions all set. Wilson took too long with the signals, couldn't get the ball off in time. So that hurts. It doesn't make things impossible, but it definitely makes things a little more difficult as they go to 2nd and 8.
I don't know if this is a thing, but like when you're outside and you're cold, do you have more trouble hearing people? Because I do. And I don't know if it's just the cold or if I'm just like in my own head at that point. Just asking you personally, as Mears is brought down in the backfield.
I think it depends on other factors, like the wind, for instance. If the wind is howling, then it's going to be harder to hear people. But then again, you're all bundled up. You have a football helmet on. There's a crowd that's making a lot of noise in the background as well. So, I mean, it's probably going to be pretty difficult to hear anyway. But, you got to be able to communicate that with hand signals, do whatever you need to do, because that's your job, is to communicate effectively to your teammates in an offensive situation.
Huge 3rd down for Rochester. Trips to Wilson's right. 4-man rush from Houston. As time unloads to the sideline. And not seeing a signal there yet. It's going to be 4th down. Average the intended receiver.
Well, he caught it. He did catch that. It was a nice catch towards the sideline, just not enough quite on the distance there. Great footwork, though, by Average to be able to get the toe tap in and get it closer to midfield. It at least creates a doubt as to whether or not they're going to kick this, but they will indeed punt it away.
Another punt from Rochester. The punter earning his money for sure, and that looks like that might be a good spot at the 19. Maybe not a great spot, but every inch counts in this game. You see the numbers there for Ronnie Shanahan. This is a guy that's really answered the bell tonight.
Yeah, he's been good. No doubt about that. He's been better in the first half Second half not gone according to plan so far.
Shanahan dumps it off, and that looks like that's DJ Simeon. Simeon and Millsap, the 21 and 23. A little difficult to tell apart sometimes.
Those two have been pretty good in a passing game coming out of the backfield, getting into the middle of the field, giving him a check down that is worth doing, talking about Shanahan.
And there's Simeon again. Simeon running over a defender, getting his team a first down. That was DeAdrian Palmer, who was escorted to the turf. And a fresh set of downs for the herd.
Escorted to the turf. I like that line. I'm going to use that.
Thank you. It's all yours. Shanahan under center this time. Simeon again. It's Simeon. This time, it's DeAdrian Palmer doing the greeting. A tackle for loss.
A little bit of a revenge hit there. You hit me, I hit you. And that's a little bit of tit for tat from the offense to the defense as DJ goes down in a heap and loses a couple yards in the process.
And that's not a matchup you like. You see Tyron Armstrong trying to block DeAdrian Palmer. The Palmer's going to win that matchup 10 times out of 10. And now Shanahan under center again on second and long. They go to the eye. Does Simeon get the call again? No, play action. Over the middle. That is caught. That's going to be a first down. Terrazas, my player of the game so far, coming up with another huge catch. Houston with a fresh set of downs.
And that's that levels concept that a lot of teams in the UFL like to employ. There was some route running underneath, trying to get something free, but linebackers react favorably to going over the top instead. That one's a real nice ball to find Terrazas in the open field. He made a nice play earlier for a touchdown. This time it gets his team a first down, and Houston starting to move the ball as they get closer to midfield.
Ready. 10 Lobo.
Now only one back in the backfield. Shanahan with time. Oh, Camden. Ball comes loose, but he's ruled down. A little bit of a startling moment there for the Houston offense. That is Leo Cornish with the sack.
Yeah, second sack of the day by Cornish. Shanahan, Dan, you talk about the collective Houston area taking a breath as he drops to the turf and then lets go of the football. Luckily for Houston, he's called down. He was down, so that's accurate, but just a real weird scenario there where he didn't have a ton of time in the pocket, but the defense able to collapse on him and get him to the turf.
Him in the truck saying running back on the check down fell. It's hard to throw to a guy when he is on his tuchus.
Yeah.
Especially in these conditions. Second and 16 now. Play action again. Shanahan over the middle again, and that's going to be picked off. Rochester coming up with a turnover when they need it most. Sedarius Tarver with the pick.
Tarver with a great diving interception to be able to take this ball away. What a read as Shanahan tries to find the opening over the middle of the field in one-on-one coverage. What a throw, or what a catch by Tarver, able to just get up and take that ball away. Now Rochester seriously in business after the turnover, and another chance for them to take the lead.
That was a 50-50 ball with Dre McCorkle. McCorkle was 6'4". It didn't really have a fair shot at it with the ball almost behind him. But now Matt Wilson and friends marching out back into the snow, looking for a tying or go-ahead score. Casey Mears on the right side gets out to midfield and down at the 49. You see the numbers there on Mears getting a little more volume here in the second half.
Yeah, it's not even that they're leading, but Mears has been effective with the football and taking some of the pressure off the shoulders of one Matt Wilson.
Wilson in the shotgun, the handoff again. It's Everidge, and Everidge with a terrific gain. That's going to be very close. 3rd and 1, maybe even less than 1.
That was an unfortunate spot, to be honest with you. I thought Everidge had that first down after the tumble, but just unfortunate spotting from the line official.
Simmons back in at fullback. And they go play action. Wilson is going to cough it up. This is bad news for Rochester, but it's great news for Mike Denali. Marching into the end zone, touchdown herd.
Well then, I want to see the action of Matt Wilson's arm on this before this is scooped, but what a bit of a reaction and more penetration from the defensive line to get to Matt Wilson. And
that's not even close. That's
you're
clearly
right.
a fumble.
Yep, he couldn't move the ball forward with his arm. His arm moved forward, but without the football. That is great work from Houston's defense to force the turnover, get the scoop and score, and bring back their 2-possession lead.
The second fumble lost for Rochester today. Casey Mears had one in the first half, and now Matt Wilson taking a hit from Evan Allen, freeing the ball up from Mike Denali, who just scooped, and as you said, took it to the his. And now Houston with a seemingly insurmountable 10-point lead with less than a minute to play here in the third quarter.
Yeah, you mentioned the 7-point lead earlier looking rather large. This 10-point lead looks massive the way both these teams have played so far. And Rochester was coming into their own in the second half. They had that real nice drive. They're talking about letting some air out of the balloon. They just released the momentum as as Matt Wilson released that football.
Houston will kick it away. Rochester will have a chance at a return here out to the 20 and not quite to the 30-yard line. Go with Scott Arnold, who's handling return duties for the Pioneers tonight. Casey Mears, what does Casey Mears need to do to get this team back on track?
Honestly, we'll see probably less of Casey Mears unless it's in the passing game. Matt Wilson, they had a good game plan coming into that drive, and things happen.
Wilson to the sideline, not exactly embracing the challenge of going downfield, looking for Everidge again, and that is comfortably incomplete. 2nd and 10.
And not enough room there towards the sideline. They got 53 yards of space between the sidelines. You got to find a way to make it work.
Now Wilson under center will hand off to Mears up the middle, and Mears takes a shot from Tyrone Lofton. It's a nice game all the same. 3rd and 2. Really like the way Houston's secondary has been putting hits on the running backs and the receivers as well.
Yeah, the safeties are coming up and being aggressive on them as well. It's really nice to see.
Mears has the first down out to the 45, close to midfield, out on the logo. And we are starting to see a little bit more of Casey Mears, but perhaps too little too late as we reach the end of the third quarter. May I have some 4s in chat, please? Rochester on the ropes. The Houston Herd looking to take down one of the giants of the UFL. You're watching the Virtual Football Network. Fourth quarter coming up. Don't you go anywhere. Josh Circle, Chris Curtis here in Rochester, New York. The snow still coming down. The Pioneers in a bid to go 5-0 to keep up with Cincinnati. Not looking great so far. They trail by 10. Matt Wilson, flag on the play, throwing to the sideline, incomplete. Let's see about the penalty.
Yeah, hold. Looks like it was on the offensive line. Not a good thing. Oh no, it was Wood. Wood's had a bit of a rough day at the office, to be fair.
Yes.
Had the incompletions, has a big time penalty here to bring his team back 10 yards.
Wilson out of the shotgun again, 1st and 20. Line holding up, and now he's gonna take a shot all the way down the field, and that's gonna fall incomplete. Looking for Najee Anderson amidst a slew of white jerseys. And why not? Smoke him if you got him. 2nd and 20. And we got to take a chance at this point. Time ticking away, less than 12 minutes. Rochester staring down the barrel of their potentially first loss of the season. And that is caught, but still a long way to go for Evan Wood. Only his 2nd catch of the game on maybe, by my tally, 7 targets.
Yeah, he's been lax so far in that spot, so he needs another big catch.
3rd and 12. Wilson looking again, and it's batted away. And it looked like that Dijon Swan had to bat it away from the defender.
Yeah, the defender has just as much right to the football as the receiver when it's up in the air like that. And you see that Mustard Bird had his hands outstretched, able to play a little bit of defense from that one-on-one coverage, as Blades really had a realistic shot at this football, but he would have needed to make an athletic catch, and Swan made sure that wasn't going to happen.
Very heads-up play by Dijon Swan. And a brutal 3-and-out for Rochester. At the 15, Houston will be able to run this back, and that's loose. And who's got it? Houston manages to recover. Oh my goodness. Systek Beasley with a case of the dropsies at the worst possible time.
Yeah, another one that nearly ended up in the hands of Rochester. The scoop and score that was called back earlier, and then Beasley, or actually Blades in this case, able to get this one picked up by his team, and now Shanahan has a chance to come out and just really chew on some clock and take some time away from the potential Rochester comeback with a 10-point lead.
And now we see the Hoss is out in the backfield. DJ Simeon up the middle. 11 rushes for 46 yards for Simeon the junior. And you see the allowances there, 2nd and 4. Balanced look here for Houston. Shanahan, the shoulder shimmy. And that is caught. Dre McCorkle. Not heard too much from McCorkle tonight, just his 2nd catch of the night.
Yeah, not a lot there for McCorkle, and he hasn't really been the primary target for Shanahan. They haven't really needed him, to be fair.
5 wide receivers for the herd. Shanahan, and that is going to bounce around before falling to the turf. And that's a bad 3 and out there for the herd.
Yeah, they didn't really succeed in chewing a whole lot of clock on that drive. They could have really done some damage. Taking the seconds in chunks would have been a real nice way to go, but they decide to throw it on the short to intermediate routes when they have a more than capable running back there in DJ. Just an interesting set of play calls on a clock kill scenario for Houston.
Bit of a surprise there for sure. Rochester will get this out just past the 20, down at the 23. Arnold will limp back toward the sideline. Matt Wilson trailing by 10. One of the legends of sim football.
Ready, ready. 10-2 stop.
Will now be in the shotgun.
Watch an extra rusher here on the edge.
Oh, or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And Wilson just has to throw it away. Houston set the house, and they've done that a couple times tonight.
Yeah, they put Wilson in an uncomfortable scenario, and Wilson has a little bit rushed. He had more time than he thought there. He probably could have let a route develop. Instead, he wings it toward the sideline.
Bunch set to Wilson's left, and he's going to tuck it and go. Upfield, going up the middle. That's a bit of a surprise. And then down at the 28. 5th takeoff for the night from Matt Wilson. None of those designed runs.
No, he's known when to step up into the pocket or out of the pocket and get out into freedom. And that's not going to work. That's unfortunate.
That's a jump from Rochester. I believe that was Tom Vincent, the left tackle. Unfortunate that's why we called Tom Vincent's name tonight. And now Wilson will run again on 3rd and 10 and will get tackled actually this time in lieu of sliding. Benjamin Roback with the stop. His 6th tackle of the night. Busy night for Roback.
Yeah, he's been busy for sure. And a couple of those tackles have come on Wilson's runs. He's gone towards the sideline a couple times, and Roback's right there. This time he gets a chance to put a lick on Matt Wilson and bring him down rather than just trying to let Matt slide.
Now another punt for Rochester. 8.5 to play. Margin for error, I should say, running thin, especially now with Houston getting pristine field position out to the 47.
Yeah, and here's another opportunity for Houston to take some time off of this clock. That should be their priority at this point. If they're able to kill a couple minutes and that 10-point lead starts to loom way larger than it did just a couple minutes ago.
Ben Hess back in the game at fullback. But Shanahan throwing on 1st down, and that is caught and stumbling backwards is Dre McCorkle. He's getting a little bit more involved here. Call it 2nd and 2.
Good job by Shanahan getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He sees the blitz coming from his left, able to counteract, go to his right, and find the open target. Good work.
Shanahan will hand it off. DJ Simeon gets the 1st down. And I am surprised we haven't seen a little bit more of that. You see the numbers there for Simeon. Good, but not great. Certainly acceptable with the conditions that you have here tonight.
Yeah, certainly good enough to win for his football team. That's what you're looking for at the very end of the day.
Chat calling for a run, and they're going to get it. Simeon again. Call it a yard, 2nd and 9. Clock continues to run, just over 7 minutes to play in regulation.
Let's go now. 50, plant. You ain't going nowhere.
And now 4 wide here. Handoff again, Simeon. Trying to get the matchup on the field, I guess, that they want, Chris. And Simeon with another carry.
Now that sets up a 3rd and very manageable at 3rd and 4, and they're just about at field goal range is Houston, so that just a couple yards forward could give them a chance to make it a 13-point lead.
Trips to Shanahan's left. It's Millsap in the backfield. And throwing an incomplete. Looks like he led Millsap maybe a little too much. We're looking for somebody else, but 4th and 4. Is this 4-down territory?
I don't think so. I mean, you could try to go for the kill, but I don't think you're there yet. I think you take a couple more minutes off the clock and you start to think about it. But, I mean, you've got a 51-yarder from here. You have a kicker who can make it if they decide to try to do that, and they're going to try it from the left hash to make it a 13-pointer.
Spot, kick, and that is no good. Looked like he got it to the net, but not quite in the uprights. Here's another look.
No, this actually hit the bottom rung, if I saw that right. No, maybe not. He was wide right. Okay, so it looked like it was it looked shorter than it should have been, but no, it had plenty of distance. It looked like, but at the very end of the day, it's a long turnover as they put this wide right, give Rochester another chance to get back into this football game.
Austin Whitney misses the field goal. Matt Wilson marches back out. 6:05 to play. He needs 10 points to tie. He's going to run it, nowhere to go, running right into Case Seifert. His first sack of the game.
Yeah, first irresponsible run that I've seen from Matt Wilson. He has an angle to get out of the pocket and through the tackles. Sievert's right there. All he does is run into him. There's a window there right at the hash marks where he has a chance for an escape valve, and he just doesn't take it. And that's a poor bit of running vision for Matt Wilson. So there's a reason he's a quarterback.
And no huddle this time for Rochester. Wilson's going to take a shot, and that's going to be picked off. Another interception and another big play from Mike Denali.
Denali's been so good tonight. The one-on-one coverages he's been great at. He has a sack as well. He has the scoop from the scoop and score a little while ago. He has been real nice from that safety position. He was my impact player to watch in the secondary for Houston coming in, and he has not disappointed by any stretch. He gets it at its highest point, the one-handed interception in another life. We'd call that a nice hands catch. This is that's a real good catch from Denali, wide receiver style over the top.
Literally in Mike Denali's bio, the last line. Time to dominate with the pick sixes and bring this team to greatness. He didn't have a pick six, but he did get 6.
Yeah.
One of only 2 touchdowns in this game tonight. And he's given his team a chance to close this out. DJ Simeon on the left side. And Simeon will get a couple as he gets out to the 17-yard line. And the herd working on the clock.
Yeah, exactly. They're in no hurry, nor should they be with 5 and change left in this fourth quarter. I mean, essentially, Rochester has to score twice, but they have to stop Houston first.
Shanahan to the left side, and that is caught. Noe Terrazas, who's been an absolute beast tonight. Gain of 21.
If you're going to throw it in this type of situation, you better catch it. And then Terrazas did there. And bonus for them, he got tackled inbounds, which means the clock continues to tick, 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 tick away on Rochester's chances to get back in this football game.
Veteran presence of Noe Terrazas to make that happen. No stranger to sim football by any means. And now a fresh set of downs for the herd. Simeon beaten up in the backfield. A gang of red jerseys making the play there. It's going to be 2nd and long.
Yeah, chance for Rochester to make a defensive stand here, get off the field, but Houston should be responsible with this clock and take as much time as they can between snaps. There's no reason to rush things, and you get into trouble if you hurry too much. So execution should be at the forefront of Houston's mind right now.
Ben Hess back in at fullback. Simeon with the carry again, and again it is blown up in the backfield by DeAdrian Palmer.
Palmer's been good for Rochester tonight defensively. A couple tackles, couple sacks, and a couple tackles for loss as well. He's been good from that defensive line, and Simeon's going to start seeing him in his nightmares the way he's been after him all night long.
Nice little spin move there from DeAdrian Palmer. Love to see a level of shiftiness out of our edge players. Shanahan to the shotgun for 3rd and long. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up with time to throw. That is caught, and that's going to be another first down. D.R. Simeon, the living legend, with his first catch of the game, and boy, is it a good one.
Yeah, that's the biggest catch we've seen by either side right now, maybe with the exception of Noe's earlier. But what a catch by Simeon, and being able to move upfield, drag a defender. That's Han Tayumi. That's not a small man that he just dragged 3 or 4 yards to be able to get that first down. So great play from Simeon, great catch, great throw from Shanahan and Houston at midfield.
Living legend, D.R. Simeon. Getting his team a fresh set of downs, and now DJ Simeon doing all the dirty work. He's probably thinking, hey, Dad, you make one catch, you get all these yards, and I'm back here getting beat up in the backfield.
That's right. He's young. He can take it.
Young. Got to pay the dues, young man. Ben Hess back in the game at fullback. 2 tight ends to Shanahan's left. Simeon with a hole down to the 40 and down near the 35, and here come the timeouts from Rochester.
Yeah, not ideal for Rochester, who still needs to get this football back. But just nothing doing, no leverage given by the Herd as they've been able to continuously take time off this clock, down to about 2 minutes left on this game, and Rochester staring square in the face of a 4-1.
Shanahan under center. And Simeon again, and that will get us. No, we're going to get another timeout here with 2:01 to play.
Interesting that they're taking timeouts before the 2-minute warning.
Yes. Well, Cam, you got any thoughts on Rochester burning out timeouts here before the 2-minute?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to preserve as much time for their offense. Essentially, they've made Houston run 3 plays in 5 seconds here, and if they get a stop ahead of the 2-minute warning, it'll be 3rd down.
I think Cam Shanahan will have to throw it here. And that will get us to the 2-minute warning. And credit where it's due. Houston came to play. And they get a first down here. DJ Simeon can't get it, and Rochester will burn their last time out. They need 10 points in less than a minute.
Oh, you say that.
2 minutes, excuse me.
And actually, it's possibly going to be 13 because Houston's in a space where they can kick a field goal at the Rochester 32-yard line. It'd be a 49-yarder.
Austin Whitney just missed one from 51. This will be 48. And that is in there. Austin Whitney on a path to redemption. Look at the smile on that young man. As that is going to basically ice this game, Chris Curtis.
I mean, yeah, it's close. It's still 13 points. It just means that Rochester, to make a comeback in this game, they have to score 2 touchdowns instead of a touchdown and a field goal. So this is still a 2-possession game, and with 1:49 to go and no timeouts, got to be a lot of sideline plays, maybe a quick strike if they can manage it, and then would have to get the onside kick. So this is a tall task for Rochester in front of their home fans. But we've seen some crazy things even in season 1. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Butted out into kicked out into the end zone. They'll take it on the 25. I want to remind everybody, Friday, April 10th, an exciting announcement from the UFL website in a collaboration with an industry leader. And you can also follow UFL on Instagram at UFL.football. And that is the Instagram handle and also the website, UFL.football. As that is caught over the middle. It's Justin Reside. He has been a busy guy tonight.
He has.
Remember,
He's been spread out.
Hey, let's go.
He's been spread out. You know, it's tough to spread out a guy that's 5'9", but Reside has done it. He's done a great job of it. Wilson to the sideline. And that is going to be caught by Evan Wood for a gain of 3. One of the things I love about Reside, if you've ever met Justin Reside in real life, like he is 5'9" in real life. Most guys, when they build a player, they're like, I'm going to be a big boy. I'm going to be like 6'3", 6'4". But Justin Reside, just keeping it real. Keeping it real. And his guys had a great game tonight. Credit where it's due. That's Dijon Swan with a catch down to the 30. Clock continues to run. 1:10 to play.
Yeah, they're taking their sweet time, and they're taking way too much time. They're going to go no huddle, but it's going to be that 10-second runoff. So this is the final minute. Now they got to go for the end zone here soon.
Play action. Wilson looking to do just that, and it's going to take a shot toward the corner, and that is really close. Looks saying he's out of bounds.
You know, they may take a second look at this. That was real close. He still had it in his mitts when he stood up, but I don't think we're going to get a Booth challenge on it.
The Booth says, no thanks. Wilson will try again. Offensive line giving him time. Taking a shot down to the 5. That's going to be caught, but he is inbounds. The clock running again. Dijon Swan, one more time.
All right, now here comes the no huddle. Again, it's going to be probably 30 seconds before they're able to snap this football.
Wilson under center. That's Everidge behind him. Here comes the blitz. Wilson to the end zone, has to throw it away. Looked like he had Reginald Wallace open in the end zone, but could not find him.
That was Wilson feeling the pressure from the backside as well. He had a rusher coming free with no block right on his blind side. Good instinct by Wilson to get rid of that football.
Now second to go, Wilson back to the shotgun. 4-man rush. Throwing toward the sideline, that's Everidge. And well short of the goal line, 3rd and goal.
Yeah, got to make it happen. This has to be the play. If they have any shot at all at making this comeback, this has to be a touchdown right here.
Wilson to the shotgun, Everidge to his left. Play action, why not? To the end zone. Caught, but he's out of bounds. That's Devontae Christian pulling a Dan Orlovsky. He was comfortably out of bounds. Watch this. I mean, that's not even close.
That was not as far-fetched as you might think. I think he had a shot at this. I thought I saw the toes right on the back of the end zone.
And the Booth
see it here.
Looks like they agree.
Oh no, he's out. No, he's out. That back foot.
I think both feet are in the air when he catches that, and then the first one comes down out of bounds.
Yeah, so it was closer than it looked by the naked eye. So good Booth review just to make sure, but definitely not a touchdown, nor should it be.
It's a game of inches for sure. And now 4th and goal, gotta have it to have any chance. 19 seconds. Here comes the blitz. Wilson to the end zone, touchdown.
Okay, so that's the answer that they needed. They don't have a lot of time left. 16 seconds. They're going to put this on the ground. They're going to try for the onside. That's a no-brainer there. Wood able to redeem himself a little bit by getting in the end zone, so good on him. And now is a situation where your special teams need to come up huge for your team. Give them a shot, but it's going to be a big ask.
First things first, Devin Akins with the extra point, and that is in there. And now the probability of converting the onside kick, if you will, kicks in here, and that amounts to Rochester putting their undefeated season, so far anyway, on basically a dice roll.
Well, remember, it's more of a dice roll right now with the way the ground is. The weather will have an impact on this kick. It's going to hit the ground. It has a chance really to run and slip around. You have players and the hands team working with cold fingers, some tape on the fingers as well. This is not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun to see what side of the Plinko chain this ends up on.
Akins squirts it. The ball's on the ground. Who's got it?
Rochester.
Rochester got it. Unbelievable. Are you kidding me, dog? Rochester comes up snake eyes, and they're going to shot to win it.
They have a shot. It's a small shot, but they do indeed. Wilson has had a decent day. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He needs to come up a hero on this. That ball skittered along the ground. The hands team for Houston could not hold on to the football. Great work. Special teams did the job. Now the offense back on the field.
Wilson in the shotgun, 15 seconds. Line holding up, only 3 to rush. Gonna chuck it down the field. And that is caught. Evan Wood again.
No
Are you
way.
serious? No way.
But the clock is going to run out.
And that's it.
Oh, man.
An unbelievable ending as Rochester hits the loss column for the first time this season. Houston runs into upstate New York and steals one due to that man, Mike Denali. And the Houston Herd come out victorious.
Man, that nearly ended up in the end zone. Caught at the 4-yard line. Last-ditch effort for Matt Wilson and company off the recovered onside kick. If you're going to end up in the loss column, that, I suppose, is the way to do it. What a comeback from Rochester to make that one close. And a real good game on UFL Primetime.
Absolutely. The snow, the prestige, the players, the success of Ronnie Shanahan, of Mike Denali, and everybody taking care of business. Thank you for joining us. Your final score from Rochester: Houston 20, Rochester 14. For Chris Curtis and Cameron Irvine, I'm Josh Circle. Good night.